So we're going to be doing a crochet along, and we're going to call it a CAL, a C-A-L, and that's how we'll do the abbreviation for it, just so we don't have to keep typing out crochet along. And we're going to be releasing one square or a week and teaching you how to do some basic stitches so that we can all learn how to do some really cool squares. We're going to make a lapgan. We're going to put 12 squares together in a pattern, and so we'll do 4 of each square, and we're going to make it so it's how big? 40.
It is going to be a lapgan, which is 36 by 48.
36 by 48, so we'll need 48 squares. There'll be 6 by 6 inch squares, so you'll be making 4 of each square, and we'll be using, if you want to pick up the book, the Big Book of Crochet Stitches. Our first square isn't in there. It's just one of my very favorite stitches. We'll be going into those directions in a little bit, and I'll teach you how to read the patterns every week. This week, right now, I'm just going to show you which hook to use. We're going to use a K or a J, which is going to be a 6.5 or a 6. This is actually an I. So, that one. Trusty crochet hook. So we'll be using a K or a J, depending on how long it takes, what your tension is going to be to get that 6-inch base for your square. We'll be using, some people call it 4-ply or the medium weight yarn, which is a number 4, and you'll have a couple of different brands here, so you can see that they're all the same weight. This is the Red Heart 4-ply. This is what's called Gumdrop. It's 4, and then this is Deborah Narville's 4, right there. But you can see that they're all 4s, but they are different thicknesses. Yeah. So that when you work them up, it's going to come out a different thickness, so to speak, when you finish your stitch. So you want to just make sure that when you complete that 6-inch square, that's what you're getting. So you may have to do a couple extra stitches on your chain, or just to get that base. So that's what we would call getting your gauge correct. So it may take a J hook or a K hook depending on how big you want your stitches to be, and that's how you would find your gauge for your Afghan or any project. And a lot of times they explain what you would need on your yarn itself. So if you were using this particular yarn, it suggests using an I hook, and for 12 single crochets you would get a 10 by 10 centimeter square, or a 4 by 4 inch square. And with your knitting needles of an 8, you get a 4 by 4 inch square, or a 10 by 10 centimeter square with 18 stitches. So it does tell you about how many it would take, and this one would be different because it needs a different size hook and needle. It says an I, but as we saw earlier, it's a different width. It still says medium, still says 4, but it is a different, you can see the difference in the knitting.
And yarn colors. You can do a pattern of all singles, or use your stash up, or...
Yeah, this is actually a great time to use up your stash. We don't know about how much it's going to use per square, because every stitch is going to be a little bit different in the amount it's going to use. We're going to have some popcorns, we're going to have some bobbles, we're going to do some ripples, we're going to do some clusters, some fans. We're going to try to do one of each kind of stitch that's in this book. We tried to be creatives to make sure that we're going to get a little bit of everything out of here, but not make it too not necessarily complicated, but something that we would be able to easily explain so that you guys could grow from the basic steps within here. We're going to probably, our project is going to be worked with variegated yarn, which changes colors as we work, so we don't have to add different colors, but you have ones that turn into stripes naturally. This one will stripe on its own, so it doesn't switch colors within the yarn. Or you have solid colors that are just solid, and you can just do a solid square and alternate as you go. We're not planning the blanket out. We're not planning each square out for you. This is what you'll be able to do on your own. And then there's also, so you'll be able to, you can match up the colors as you like. Like this one, if I were using this color, it could make stripes in it, and then I could use other purples, blues, teals, or even yellows or greens to complement it. Or I could, you know, do the same with this one. Just have a few accent colors for this. So this is the perfect time to be creative, or just use up your stash if you just have a couple that, you know, random balls of yarn you want to get rid of around the house.